Okay, today we are going to go through numbers 1 through 8 of your semester final review. So this is going to be over everything we've done since September. So number 1, the table shows the number of gallons in a truck's fuel tank after the vehicle has been driven X miles. When this data is graphed on a coordinate grid, the points all lie on the same line, so that tells me it's linear. What is the equation of this line? So when we're looking for the equation of a line, we normally just go straight to slope-intercept. So y equals mx plus b. Okay? Remember though, we're going to use Desmos as much as possible. So first, we're going to click the plus to add a table. Okay, so we're going to go to Desmos and we're going to click the plus sign to add the table. And then we're going to enter our table. So we have 0, 10, 20, 40, 55 as our x values. Then our y values are 18, 17.5, 17, 16, 15.25. Okay, so in line 2, so we clicked the plus to add the table. We entered the data. So in a new line, you're going to do y1 worm mx1 plus b to get your m and your b. So if I go back to Desmos in this second line, I'm going to type y1, click the ABC keyboard, and the worm is down here at the bottom. mx1 plus b. The numbers I'm worried about are these parameters at the bottom, the m and the b. So the m is negative 0.05. The b was 18. So for my equation, it's going to be y equals negative 0.05x plus 18. Okay, number 2, Donovan rode his bike from school to the library. The graph below shows Donovan's distance in miles from the library after riding his bike for X minutes. So the first bullet point says, what is the range of the function using inequality notation? So remember, range is your y values, and it's going to go from the bottom to the top. So the inequality, we're going to have our y. We're going to go ahead and draw our symbols, decide if we need the lines in a second. So we're going to start at the bottom, go to the top. So the bottom, this y value is 0. It's a colored in circle, so I'm going to put my line underneath. Remember, a colored in shaded circle is less than or equal, greater than or equal. An open circle is just less than, greater than. Then I'm going to go to the top. My y value there is 9, and that's also shaded, so I add the line underneath. Okay, the second bullet, what is the domain? So that's my x values of the function using inequality notation. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my x's because there's no arrows, so I know I need 2 inequalities. Okay, and remember, domain goes left to right. So I'm going to start at the left, go to the right. So at the left, this x value is 0. It's a shaded circle, so I'm going to put my line underneath. I'm going to come all the way to the right. That x value is 24. It's also shaded, so my line goes underneath. All right. Which table represents y as a function of x? So in order for it to be a function, x does not repeat. So I'm just focused on this x column. Okay, this one is a very good option because none of the x's repeat. On B, the -3's repeat, so that's out. On C, the -4's repeat, so that's not a function. On D, all the x's are the same, so that's out. So our option is A. Okay, on number 4, it says if f of x equals 2 times x squared minus 2 plus 10, what is the value of f of 15? So remember this is function notation, so f of x, the 15 is taking the place of x. So anywhere I see an x, I'm going to put a 15. So f of, instead of x, 15 equals 2 parentheses 15 squared minus 2 plus 10. So now I'm going to go to Desmos and just type that in. So we have 2 parentheses 15, the squared is this little a squared button, minus 2, close the parenthesis, and then plus 10. So our answer is 456. So f of 15 equals 456. Okay, another way you could do this is you can type the equation and then click the gear to make a table. So if we're back in Desmos, we can type in our equation. So y equals 2 parentheses x squared minus 2 and then plus 10. If I click the gear or the flower up here, I make it a table. Then down here at the bottom, I would just put 15 and I should get the same answer. So that's another option. Okay, and then enter x value in table. Okay, so there's 2 different ways you could do that one. All right, what value of x makes the equation true? Okay, so this is another Desmos problem. So we can put one side, oops, I went too far, one side of the equal in one line, and then we can put the other side of the equal in the second line. And we're going to look for where they cross. Okay, so we have y equals 0.25 parentheses x minus 4. And that's the end of the first line. And then we have y equals 4 plus 0.75 parentheses x plus 20. Okay, if you can't see where they cross, go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Then click. We are solving for x, so we only need the x value. So the x value, we would get, you have -40, -11. We only want the x, so x equals -40. So again, what we did in line 1, we put y equals 0.25 x minus 4. In line 2, you put y equals 4 plus 0.75 times x plus 20. and then you look where they cross at the x value. Okay? All right, number 6. Write an inequality that describes all the solutions. Okay, so since it's an inequality, we can't do this the same way. So what we're going to do, remember you see parentheses, you're going to distribute. So you have 3 times 4, so 12. There's a negative 1 there, so 3 times negative 1 is negative 3y. And then we have our inequality. There's nothing to distribute on this side, so we have negative 6y plus 3. Okay, remember we want our letters on the left, numbers on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and move my number over. So minus 12, because you do the opposite. Bring down that whole thing, so negative 3y is greater than or equal to negative 6y. 3 minus 12 is a negative 9. Okay, now I need to move my letter to the left. So I'm going to add 6y. Negative 3 plus 6 is going to be a positive 3y. Now I'm dividing by 3. So I have y is greater than or equal to negative 3. Okay. All right, number 7. A sporting goods chain is going to close one of its stores and consolidate. So consolidate means they're going to combine. So they're going to add all of their stock from both stores into one. The following 2 polynomials represent the stock in each store. Write an expression to represent the new inventory at their new location. Okay, so I have 3 things here. I have an S squared, so I'm going to have 3 columns. I have an S, and then I have just my numbers. Okay, so from the first one, I'm going to look at the coefficient or the number in front of S squared. So that's 1/3. There's nothing, no S on the first one. And then I have 8/3. Okay, for the second one, I have a 2, a negative 2/7, and a 1/6. Okay, remember we said we were going to add, so I'm going to put a big plus sign over here. So now I'm adding vertically. So I have 1/3 plus 2. So if I go to Desmos, I can enter that in. So 1/3 is just 1 divided by 3 plus 2. I want to keep it as a fraction, so I'm going to click the fraction button over here to the left. So it's 7/3. And that has an S squared. And then for the next one, I have 0 minus 2 divided by 7. So it's negative 2/7. And that is in the S column, so I'm going to put an S. And then for the last one, I have 8/3 plus 1/6. So I'm going to have 8 divided by 3 plus 1 divided by 6. So that is positive 17/6. So I'm going to put plus 17/6. And that would be my answer. Okay. Number 8. change 5x minus 2y equals 8 into slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we have to solve for y. So we have 5x minus 2y equals 8. So remember, to solve for y, we're going to move the x. So move the x. When I move it, I change the sign. So instead of a positive, it's going to be a minus 5x. The last step, I'm going to divide by the number in front of y. Okay, so remember the sign as well. So we're dividing everything by -2. So I'm going to have y equals 8 divided by -2. So if you need to, go to Desmos and type that in. So -4. And then we're looking at this fraction, so -5 divided by -2. So 2.5, and remember, if your answer choices are in fractions, you can always leave the fraction over here. Most of the time, your slope will be a fraction. So 5/2 x. So if I want to write it in the correct order, y equals 5/2 x minus 4. And that would be my answer.